Everybody, thanks for watching. Now, just put our latest DVD on, personal economics, which a lot of people had questions about and have been inboxing me about, what I do personally. Those of you who follow me on Instagram and the few of you who do follow my personal Facebook, and I have another Facebook for Merkabah, you guys can see, what I do and the things that I post. So, a lot of people have questions about what they can do to basically grow, their business, or, just begin to establish a better financial situation for themselves and their family. And, in that DVD, we really got into just laying the foundation of what you need to do to start. A lot of times we get ahead of ourselves, and a lot of people say, I want, but they don't have a foundation to build on. A lot of people see what other people do and they want, they want to do it. They think it's easy, and it's not as easy as you may think it is. And a lot of people are where they are because of truly, hard work. There's truly a mindset to success, and a lot of people have it, some people don't. And it seems like, more people don't. And the thing is, you can't really get anywhere without the know-how, which a lot of people, as I said, equate the know-how to, going to school and having an education and in the field that they want to, partake in. And the thing is, it's still a system that you have to establish, a foundation that you should have to begin, building success in your personal life, so that while you're trying to reach your goal, you are not hindered by the small things, things like bills, rent, food, cell phone bills and all that kind of stuff like that. These little teeny things can come up and just, disrupt the whole process. It destroys your energy, your focus when you have to worry about bills, have to worry about rent and food or what have you. You can't really truly concentrate on what you're trying to do because you're, in the back of your head, you're worried about a bill. You're worried about a payment coming up. You're worried about these little small things that if you set a foundation to attack these things ahead of time and to put yourself in a position where these things won't be a problem, then you can have the peace of mind to go ahead and pursue, a personal goal or, business or what have you. And this is something that is not as hard as people think it is. We have been trained to basically, have a sense of pride and struggle and hustle. We have t-shirts that says hustle. And you should be proud when you hustle hard and you achieve something, but you have to hustle smart. You want to hustle, one good hustle and be done with it. You don't want to have to keep hustling and, struggling. And this seems to be the whole, the whole direction that we go into in the Black community is we always hustling. We always struggling. There's always a struggle or a hustle. You get through one struggle, now you got to hustle. And we seem to take pride in that. And it's crazy. We brag about it like, this is tough out here. It's hard. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing what I can do. I'm getting by. And we seem to find some kind of peace with that. And this is a mindset. This is a problem. And that's one of the things that, we really talked about in DVD, that you really have to get your mind straight and understand the situation you are in, especially if you're Black. And understand that the system is set against you to have that very mindset. And we all have it, and what ensues is doubt, fear, procrastination, laziness. And it's something that a lot of people suffer from. It has to be something like truly important for you to get up and do something that you don't feel like doing. Like, you gotta go to work. You gotta do it. You gotta go to school. You gotta do this. And a lot of us, we get these feelings and emotions that I don't feel like doing this shit. I don't want to get up. I don't feel like going. And some people actually don't go, and people will push it to the limit. They will bullshit and procrastinate up to the point where everything is critical. It's crucial. Now you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to scramble, you got to hustle, to get up the money or to get yourself in the right position to get out of the problem or to fix the problem before it occurs. And may it be, you got to work now and hustle up that rent money because you done blew what you were supposed to put the rent. You got to hustle up and get that bill money up because you done blew what you were supposed to, spend for bills or what have you. And we have all been in this position, and it's a mindset. And it's something that if you don't have a foundation to protect you from stuff like this, you will continue to fall victim to it, continue to have to hustle multiple times and struggle multiple times instead of setting a plan and getting right into the position you want to be in to help you succeed. Now, anybody who knows me knows I'm a history guy. If you don't really learn history and understand what happened in the past, you definitely will fall victim to those same things in the future. You got to really know what happened and what things were done that caused, a certain era or a certain people to fall victim to certain things. And when you look back, and this is the thing with us, black people, we're not paying attention because we're so, razzle-dazzled by entertainment and everything else that we're not really looking at the things that was put in place to, first, one, take our wealth, and two, allocate the money that we were making working for our oppressor, and giving it back to them. It's like, you're going to come work for me. I'm going to pay you, but you're going to have to give me that money right back. Anyway, so it's like, what's the problem? And a lot of people don't see this formula, and I went through this thoroughly in a few videos, but I have to put it in context again here because a lot of people just not understanding why it's important, one, to establish black businesses and to support the ones that exist. Now, I talked about this briefly in the last video I put up on YouTube about really not, bashing black businesses that may have issues by really talking to people and talking to management, talking to owners and let them know any problems that you may have, found in a business instead of just jumping up all crazy and saying, hey, this is why I don't shop at black businesses because this is an issue. This is an issue. It was an issue, earlier this morning when I first put the video up for sale. A lot of people who ordered the downloads, there was a problem with the downloads. Not my fault. It's a glitch, an issue on the the provider's site. And so got a couple emails from people. Hey, it's not working. Real respectful, easy shit. Brought it to my attention and I had somebody fix it. Done deal. This is how stuff's supposed to go. Sometimes there are things that's outside of your control that you can't fix, but it's us as black people, us as just people. You can't just jump on somebody's case, first sign of an issue when a person is, doing something that's complicated as running a business, because it's not always easy and there's always going to be issues and problems, but they can be fixed with the public or people alerting the owners or the managers as to any problems respectfully. And this is one of the reasons why we are not succeeding, because we can't be putting out there publicly that we don't support our own. And that's just crazy. So what happened? If any of you ever seen the video, The Secret to Selling to the Negro, it's on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. So we're talking, this is 1954, I believe. This is in the 1950s. They even had the Secretary of Commerce do an interview in this video to really stress how huge the Negro market is. And then in 1954, they said we spent $15 billion. We had $15 billion in buying power. So when we talk about today, us having over $1 trillion in buying power, that's being really fair. 1954, 15 billion in buying power, and they seen, one, that our buying power was so immense enough to do a whole special, a whole video to show business owners, hey, remember this before segregation ended, but to show them, hey, white people, y'all tripping. Y'all better let these black folks in y'all businesses. Y'all better treat them right. They got money to spend. What's going on? And that obviously was a big deal with other corporations and companies, because eventually they would, end segregation and the whole Jim Crow thing to allow black people to come in and spend money. And again, as I talked about before, that was one of the problems, because now instead of us using that 15 billion in spending money, spending buying power to come into black businesses and buy and patronize our own and help build even more black businesses, we end up, giving all that money away. And a system was put in place to where now that money would circulate so fast out of the black community and into the hands of, people who is not going to give us a dime to help us, rebuild schools, fix any kind of issues in the black community. And it's a trickle down effect that has, unfortunately, because of what happened in the 80s, destroyed the black community. So the reality is this: if you are not supporting black businesses, if you are bashing them, if you are not trying to establish your own business as a black person, then you are destroying your future and the future of your children. You are making it so that there will be such little help there for you if you happen to want to, come up with your own business, or your child in the future to really be able to have, someone there to help them, start a business, start a company. And the thing is, we have to really rely on people who don't like us. Racist people or oppressors, people who don't want to see us succeed. We have to rely on them for money, for help, for the know-how to establish a business, when we could have by now had such a huge business infrastructure to where it will be easy for us to just go ahead and graduate into opening our own companies and businesses, because we would have had so many by now had, what happened in the 80s not happened. And I say that because, I talked about before how we had closed the wealth gap between us and white America by 1980, even though everything happened with, segregation and everything we went through, we still by 1980 was closing the wealth gap until we got, by 86 crack and hip hop music and everything like that really basically just destroyed everything. Now, black businesses is looked at as, mediocre, subpar. You can't hold a candle, with other businesses, ethnic people having, Chinese stores or white people stores. Black businesses is looked at as just piece of shit. It's just that simple. You have to really, be top now. And they made sure it was this way. You have to be super top, Everything has to be perfect, flawless to excel as a black business, especially if you're in an industry that has huge competition. Like a restaurant, clothing line or what have you like that. It's just so much competition that people look at as having this pedigree simply because they're white, they're not black. And we add to that stigma. We add to that stereotype. We add to all that when we say we don't support black businesses and when we don't support black businesses. And it's an issue. And the thing is, we have been trained not to support each other. And again, I blame that on the hip hop culture, because what we see from hip hop, that, we follow this culture. We see this whole, this culture where they just basically tease you. They brag, showboat, show off everything they had. So when you see black people in these videos, you see them cars and everything. It's like, look what I got. You ain't got this. You want this. Ha, ha, ha. And this is how we look at it. This is how we look at it. And we have been programmed so that when we see another black person with success, we look at them as, that hip hop star, or, that person that represents this culture of nah. So we don't like that. It's like, I don't want you getting money because I don't want you teasing me with what you have. I don't want you bragging to me about what you have. Well, you're not famous, so you shouldn't be able to have money like this famous person and be bragging. So we have this feeling. Black people got this whole notion that when you see a black person getting money, that's all you see. You don't see a black man getting money. You see a thug gangster getting money and now teasing you and bragging about what he got that you want, that you can't get. So instead of supporting each other, we don't. And you don't want to support a person that you feel like if you give him money, you're going to be giving him money so he can later brag, about what they got. It's just like the emotion, the feeling. It's like, you're going to brag if I give you this money. You're going to tease me with what you got if I give you this money. I want to be the one doing the teasing, so I'm just going to keep my money. Why should I support you? And this is the mindset. This is the mindset that we have. And it really is due to this culture that we live in. And a lot of people not seeing the value of a black person being successful and having a business in any capacity. And it's a shame. And we don't realize that by denying these businesses, the right, the support, you give that support to your oppressor and to people who don't want to see no black people showboat or shine or brag about anything. And that's the issue. So it's either you're going to help your people, people who look like you, people who have your best interests, you're going to help them grow and be successful and be rich, or you're going to help people who hate you, who want to suppress you, who are racist. And we have chosen to help our suppressors, are oppressors and people who are racist against us. We have chosen to help them. When by H&M, it was a lot of black people in there. And it's just what you're going to do. So this is what we have chosen to do. And it's unfortunate because if a lot of people was aware of this and had the mindset that, damn, I need to support black businesses, then, things would be a lot different. So, when black people see successful black people, they see this. They see this person who they believe is going to be bragging, a person they believe is going to be acting exactly like how they see the hip hop, artists act, as far as flashing money, throwing money in the air, and using their success to basically brag instead of using it to do something positive for, black community or what have you. This is the image that we see, when we see successful black people. It's always a shocker when we see black people in suits. And it's like, is you going to court, what is your profession that you got this suit on? And we don't see ourselves enough as black professionals, businessmen, doctors, lawyers, and what have you. We usually see this. This is what we're thinking about. This is what we secretly, subconsciously don't really like. We don't want somebody really bragging about what they got. And it seems like we only give that kind of leeway to be able to brag about what you got and your success if you're a rapper, if you're a celebrity. If you ain't famous and you're getting money, people don't want you to, be shitting on them, to be acting like you have more than them because they see something that they want that they cannot have. So instead of seeing this, we want to see this as our image of success. This is what we want to see. We want to see this as our image of black success. But if that's the case, why are we making this image rich? Why are we making these people rich? And we don't fathom it because we don't understand the culture that we are caught up in that has us mentally confused. And that's the issue. So, one of the issues we still have when you see this image of success is it legit? Is he a scammer? What is he doing? You can't look like this and be trying to sell something for some reason. You must be legit. Everything you do has to look super professional. You can't look like this and have any kind of hiccup in your game, in your business, or you're a fraud, you're a fake. Even though we see that constantly from many other sources that it's not African American. And we still buy there. We get called names, we get treated unfairly, we get followed, yet we still patronize. We still don't support, we still go, laughing and joking around like everything is fine, everything is cool. And then we complain when something happens and there's nowhere to go, as a black consumer to, basically protest, to say, I'm not coming here no more unless you do this, unless you change that. But we're so quick to do that when it's a black business, when it's a black business owner, quickly to shut them down. I don't see people who have issues and problems in these huge, corporations and their stores go on, YouTube or Facebook or what have you to voice their opinion. Something as minor as, problem with your food. If it's a problem with your food at Denny's or IHOP or somewhere like that, you go to, hey, can you get this fixed? Take it back. It's no problem. You're not going to jump on social media and say, see, look what they did to my food, and this is why I support black businesses. Then it's a problem. But my goal is to get you to understand that this is the frame of mind that you have been trained to have. You have been trained to think this way. And if you don't get that, you're never going to be able to start to notice when you do things like this. And when you say stuff like that, you're not going to ever notice that it's a problem, that it's an issue. So we have this image that we believe, represents success or a successful black person. And, it's uncomfortable to me. I had to dress like this all through law school, got to dress like this, business meetings or what have you. You want to look good, you want to look sharp, but it doesn't define success. Plain and simple. Your look it doesn't mean success. It just means you look some type of way. Success is when you can honestly say that you don't have to really worry about your appearance. You don't have to worry about what people think about you. You can do what you want. And a person's attitude towards you or a person's business that they give you or don't give you is not going to define whether you eat, tonight or tomorrow or next week. Then you're successful when you have done enough to establish a system or establish a strong foundation to where you're free. And that's really the key to success, is that freedom. That's what you want. And being able to travel. It's as I talked about before, it's so tough being, a person with money and all your friends are not on the level you are, and you want to go travel, and you can't really do it. It's always a problem. And one of the things I try to do, and I've been doing for a while now, is try to help my friends and people who I know that I'm close to grow, business wise, mentally, first of all, but then business wise, and to do something to where they don't have to worry about wearing stuff like this all the time, or looking a certain way to appease a certain people, or, have to keep living paycheck to paycheck. So what you want to do is, if you have to, if you want to, you can look like this and, try to impress whoever for whatever reason, or, to look formal, to look the way you think you should look for the occasion. But real success is when you can look like this and not give a damn what people say, and not have what they say and how they feel affect your success and affect your business. Plain and simple. Because people can look at you and say, I don't like how you look, I'm not buying from you. I don't want you to be successful, I'm not buying from you. How much is that? I'm not paying for that. I'm not buying from you. And it's this whole, feeling and notion that you are somehow not as worthy of their business than who they think should have their business. And this is the issue, and this is the disease and the problem we have. And one of the reasons why we as African Americans, can't get ahead, because we pull each other down so fast, and we destroy each other's image so fast, because we want something that we believe we cannot have, and we're not willing to work with each other to get it, or to help someone achieve something great, because we have this whole fear that they're going to brag about it, that they're going to somehow, throw it in our face or rub it in our face. And we are not truly happy for regular black people having success as we are, for celebrities and athletes. So last year I made, hundreds of thousands of dollars, as I showed you guys in the DVD. And, success is really contingent on, how you plan, how you really build on the foundation that you started in the beginning. And one of the things that I talked about is, that foundation, as I said, and really having that plan set to really spend your money wisely and use the money that you have coming in the correct way, and stop falling victim to, overspending and blowing your money on stuff that you really do not need. When you begin to start to have a, stable process for your foundation, to basically, you got this money coming in, what your bills is going to be, as I talked about in DVD, this amount of money has to go to, your bills, you want to put a little bit in savings and, pay off a little bit of debt that you can, or whatever debt you can if you have a lot, and, really work out a situation where you have this progress, happening. And that's the main thing, progress. You want it to be progress every time. Every time you get paid, there should be some kind of progress. Plain and simple. It shouldn't be, you behind, and some of you are just going to be behind automatically, before you start this, but you want to get out of that. And then eventually you want to get to a point where there's progress. Every time you get paid, there's some kind of progress. Something's getting paid off, money is being saved. You're getting closer and closer, to whatever goal that you may have set for yourself. Some kind of progress should always, occur when you have that money. You shouldn't have any real setbacks. And if you did everything correctly, when there is a setback, you have that contingency to get you out of it. And again, this is a realistic process. I understand a lot of people are not going to be able to do, exactly what I talked about, but this is ways around, any kind of flaws or problems you may be in, today. Now, one of the questions I got, and I was shocked to get it from multiple people, but of course we know this is the problem. This is the issue. A lot of you guys have records, and this is something I used to do when I was in law school. I helped so many people in Philly, because I knew the process, get their record expunged. And a lot of people don't understand that process of, okay, so if you had a felony and your record, since that time has been clean for at least 5 to 7 years, it varies depending on your state, you can then go ahead and apply for a pardon, like a full pardon. And if this is something that you are trying to do, I'm going to give you a heads up and, let you know, you should be doing your best to do whatever community service that you can do. Working with PAL, working with any after school programs. You want to get on record. Go to the library is one of the best places. They'll take you in and say, hey, you want to volunteer? You can volunteer. Do as much volunteer work as you can. Get that on record. Go to school. That's another one of the most biggest things that you can do, is to go back to school if you don't have a degree. Because what's going to happen is once you start the process of getting that ball rolling on getting your part in, what happens is the governor's office will basically send out a parole officer, believe it or not. A parole officer, probation officer, what have you, will come out and they will basically interview you and ask you questions, and they want to see what have you been doing during that time since the incident happened up until present day. And if you're community service and you're in college and everything like that, all those points goes towards your pardon and helping you expunge your record. I have helped so many people do it. And I think I talked about this progress years ago in a previous video. But, they go back and take this information, and it takes a little while, but it's months. But, for the most part, it's successful. And people get the part, and then, poof, your record is expunged, and, you have a clean record all over again. Now, of course, this is tougher to do if you murdered somebody and stuff like that. But, if you sold drugs, easy. That's one of the easiest ones, believe it or not, to get completely wiped off. You stole something, another thing, easily wiped off. You got caught stealing from a store or something like that, misdemeanor, easy. It's just anything that's violent. It's the ones they really have trouble with pardons. But I have 2 successful ones where it was, violence. But again, the people had done really well after the incident, and there was no more incidents and no more issues, and their life was doing great, after that. But you can get yourself a pardon that will allow you to go ahead and, get that job that you've been trying to get, or, what have you. And, they look at everything these days. It's not hard anymore. You can look up damn near anybody and look at their background and, see what they got if you know how. But this has been hindering a lot of people having these records, and a lot of people are still stuck working these corny jobs, and they feel like, well, I don't want to go to school and get a degree because I have this record, and what's the point? I'm gonna go to school for all these years and get a degree, and then when I go try to get a job, they're not going to hire me because I got this record. And it's not the case, especially if you have like a bachelor's or a master's or what have you. And if it's something small, even selling drugs or even stealing something or anything like that, it's not looked upon, 4 years, 5 years later, you went and got your degree, no new charges, you're doing well. A lot of jobs, a lot of companies will, dismiss that completely and say, they'll give you a second chance. Now, we all got to start somewhere. So even, once you get back in the workforce, the goal is to use this time, use this business, wherever you're working for, to eventually establish your own thing, to eventually open your own business. And that's what we need more of so much from Black people, is to really establish our own businesses. And I mean, how long is this going to last? I mean, how long are we going to go back home and keep seeing all these other people in our neighborhoods and no Black businesses, and just to know, to be conscious that this money is not going to help us? And we continue to go and just patronize these people who are not putting any money back in that community. And, that's the issue. We so screw economically, and we're not looking at the problem and saying, why am I going to keep funding this issue? We all know it. So, I would much rather take the time, go outside of my neighborhood. I know it's convenient. The store's right on the corner. I would rather take the time to go out of the neighborhood, to go to a supermarket and, buy food and get whatever I need from there, than to patronize these corner stores, these Chinese stores and these stores that's not putting money back in the community. A lot of the time, some of the Dominican stores, the Puerto Rican stores, what have you, if you have them in your hood, some of those guys live there. So, even though the money is not per se going back into that community, it's going, overseas. But in those cases, it's a little bit different. But it's the same thing. We don't have these Black stores in our community, and this is what we should have, and this is what we should be striving towards, and working towards having a business somewhere. A lot of people don't know what to do because we have been trained to work for others and not work for ourselves. And we go to school to learn how to work for other people. Now, this is part of the problem. We have this whole inclusion thing, to where we say, well, white people doing it, this must be the right way. And it's not the case in many of the cases. And you got to understand, yeah, they're going to college as well to get good jobs or what have you. But 9 times out of 10, they are going to be the ones that's going to be president of those companies. They're going to be the ones who's going to be in higher positions in those companies. You're just going to be a low-level worker. So it's really beneficial to them to go ahead and go to college to get into these positions, because 9 times out of 10, their parents own a corporation, or somebody they know owns the corporation, or they're going to get, president, secretary, or what have you, high position in a lot of these corporations. Whereas you, black man, black woman, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be behind a desk or mopping the floor, cleaning the bathrooms. It's how it is. So it's like, what is the whole thing about going to school if your whole focus is to work for this person for the rest of your life? To what end? And we have been trained to have this mindset, and we are so far behind where we, at some point, we really have to urgently begin to start establishing black businesses and corporations to help us, in the future, if we're going to have any kind of say-so economically in what happens in the black community. Because right now we don't have a voice, because we don't have nobody that's black to use their money, to use their influence and power to lobby for anything in the black community. So we get what we get. And that's the game. That's the game right there. Plain and simple. Don't really give too much shit about, your race, your color. That's part of it, but it's not the whole thing, because money talks. And when you have money, you have influence. When you have money, you can do certain things. And we don't have this organized money system to where we can go ahead and have a voice for, what's going to happen in our community and what's going to benefit us in our community. So we are basically, subject to whatever they say we can have. So it's like, what do we got? And what are y'all going to give us? What are y'all going to do for us? And that's what it is. We keep saying, what's up? What's next? Instead of making a change and doing something, we sit back waiting for it to just happen. And it's never anything that's going to be really beneficial to us. So, it's really important. And it's just so much that goes along with us not establishing black businesses and not supporting black business. That is the reason why we are in such a low state right now. So I'm really appreciative of the people who support, because this is something that I was mindful of, that I wouldn't get much support, because I just know how my people is. And it's just, a lot of people are for the revolution. People are for anything that has to do with, uplifting black folks, and anything that has to do with going against the establishment and the powers that be. People want to hear that kind of talk. They want to hear something that has to deal with change, anything that has to do with us fighting back, or us, coming together, or doing something that's different from what we've seen. But as soon as it comes to money, this is where people check out. People don't want to support. And the revolution, as I said, must be funded. Plain and simple. There's no way in the world we can do this and we can move forward if we are not willing to help each other with it, with the process. And, as much hate as you may have, or much you may feel or be, jealous of a person that's doing something huge and establishing a black business, whether it be a salon or barbershop or clothes or what have you, you have to support them specifically for that reason, because it's going to benefit you. It's better look for you and your future. You may not see it or receive direct benefits right away, but it's really in the long run going to benefit you. And if you don't understand that, then you're never going to come out of the situation. So everything that you like to hear and feel and focus on and get proud of as far as Black Revolution, you are killing that when you don't support your own, and we don't support the progress of yourself and your future and your kids' future. What's the point? What's the point? And the crazy thing, I have over now on Instagram over 1,000 followers. I have 46,000 on YouTube. But as I said, in America, less than 200 people support. So it's 1,000 people who just newly follow me on Instagram. Less than 200 have actually purchased DVDs. I know the number, I know the count, I know who the people are. And as I said, it's more sales in Europe, in Africa. And Africa has a beat here. But part of that is due to the reason that they hindering, my links, and they sabotage me. But at the same time, people know by now. I have 31 DVDs out. People know I'm putting them out. People can see. I put them in the preview before the video. People can see. So now I understand that it's not so much that it's being hindered. It's the fact that people just don't want to support. Plain and simple. People just don't want to buy. And, it's how it is. And it's something that I accepted a long time ago and say, you know what? the people who really appreciate and understand the magnitude of the situation will support. And again, it's not as if this is something that, I rely on personally. It's something that I put out, to really be able to get the most important information out. Unfortunately, once I put it on YouTube, it's gone and they take it down, or I can't put in everything I want to put in. So it is what it is on that. So it's just one of the things I wanted to point out, because a lot of people got this notion that I'm making a killing off of these DVDs and downloads, and it's just not the case. The support is not really there. And it's one of the reasons why I stopped, doing previews. I'm not going to be putting out the preview videos anymore, because I feel like at this point, the people who want the DVDs, who want the videos, they're going to buy. It's the same people, the people who know what I put out and what I do and the type of information that I focus on, I put out. You understand what's going on. You guys know who you are. But, at this point, the people who are going to buy are going to buy. Anybody who needs to see a preview or wants to preview the video or whatever like that, you know how my content is. Plus, I've been at this, for years, so people know, the type of content I've been putting out. So, main thing is, I really wanted to get people to open their minds up and understanding the importance of establishing their business in the future, supporting the business that is here, that is out, Black businesses, and really, being more engaged in anything having to do with supporting Black corporations and Black companies that's actually trying to do things to help people, start businesses. And it's something that we're going to get into in this series, because there's a lot of companies out there, a lot of corporations that, and I'm actually dealing with one right now, I'll probably touch on that's willing to put up money, willing to help you bring Black businesses to your community, to your city or what have you, if everything is right. So, it's almost like, when you start to understand a lot of these companies, these corporations, is one of the things I was going to be displaying in this website that I'm working on. This social media site, really catered towards that purpose. But it's a lot of companies out there, a lot of Black people with money, millionaires, got crazy money that's really looking forward to investing in Black businesses. The problem is bringing everybody together correctly. And we don't have a platform for that. And their websites that they have is not enough to get people to come together, because we have social media in a way that's hindering that. And even when you do share and when people do promote that, as soon as people see it, they automatically think, one, it's a white company, and two, they don't understand the magnitude or how to get involved with such a corporation that can help them establish a business. And it's a lot of them out there, and I really want to bring that to you guys. But you got to be correct, and you got to have a business plan, got to be right. You got to have at least some kind of startup money, and you got to have everything lined up correctly to where it's worth it for them to go ahead and put their foot out there and put their money out there to help you get to where you're trying to be. And we need to have more Black entrepreneurs and more Black people trying to figure out how to establish a business and come up with a new business. I'm all about having multiple incomes, and now I'm probably going to start putting out clothes. I'm probably going to start work on this clothing line. I've actually been working on it for a while now, to where I want to sell like shirts and hats and socks and stuff like that. That's dealing with conscious content, conscious clothing, and it's a huge market for that right now. Just like I talked about in the DVD about Airbnb, I'm getting into that as well. Huge market for Airbnb right now, especially here in Vegas and LA. So, I always look for the next move. So I've been here in America for a while for that purpose, to get these things off the ground and get them running and just bring in more incomes this year, to add to the whole process. But, again, it's tough. I hate to say it that way, but you got to really put yourself in a position to where, now you have to become the person who doesn't, you have to plan to not rely on Black folks. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And a lot of people are finding themselves in that position. It's just like, if we get the support, we get the support. But if not, you can't let that break your company and break your situation. I had to move out of goddamn company to get support. All the Black people I tried to help with my software to try to help them grow their business, they didn't want to even hire me. So I had to leave the country for that. It's a messed up thing. But, you have to plan your situation to not be relying on one demographic or one group of people, and just try to, have something to where you'll be successful no matter who is there to support you. And I get a lot of support from white folks. It's one of the things that kill me. Not that I don't appreciate the support. It's just like, damn, I mean, it's sad. When I used to hear people say that, I used to get mad that they said it. But it's real, and it's one of the things I've been experiencing. You know, it's real. It's a shame. But I understand it's a mindset that we have been crippled with, that we have to where we don't want to support our own. And it's messed up when you see that so many white folks support you and, you know, donate and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, you know, of course I understand they're in a better position to do so. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's sad. It's messed up because, you know, you hear a lot of black people say, well, I ain't got it. But then they go spend that money on something that it's not important, and it's going to their oppressor. And it's messed up. But this is what we face. And I speak to this problem, you know, to try to raise awareness into all of you to understand that this is something that you may do. This may be something that you suffer from or a problem that you have. And you got to really be mindful of it and check yourself, you know, check yourself and just make sure that you are not hindering, you know, the progress of anything you want to do in the future or anything your kids might want to do by having this emotion that, you know, this feeling that I don't want to support this nigga. I don't want to support this black person. You know, I don't want to see them successful. And it's just something that you got to be mindful of. So yeah, I wanted to really touch on this because a lot of emails, a lot of people hit me up about the latest DVD. Not too much I want to talk about in this video. I just wanted to really touch on the things I touched on. But, you know, to get people to understand that, you know, it's not as hard as you think it is. As I talked about in the DVD, it's not as hard, especially being a person that came from zero, you know, to where I'm at. But it's a mindset. It's a mindset. You got a mindset, you got to have a foundation, and you got to be willing to sacrifice, you know, and have the focus, and don't be deterred by your own self-doubt and fears. And don't be worried about what everybody else is doing as far as, you know, their success or what they're doing and everything like that. Just focus on you and focus on what you can do. And, you know, any type of issues you may have, may it be credit or, you know, loans or what have you, all stuff that can be fixed with the proper plan and using, I mean, it's so many companies now that's just geared towards this. And we're going to get into this in the series. A lot of people don't understand, like, you have debt consolidation programs that's all they do. And they will go and really fight to, one, get the collectors off of you, and two, to help you come up with the best type of consolidation to where they'll actually go to all the creditors and say, listen, what's the lowest you can go? This is what they can pay. Can we make a deal? To basically get you to pay. I mean, in some cases, like $2. I've seen a case when somebody was paying 17 cents to pay back debt that they own. And then you're paying that down. And if you're making the payments on time, it reports on your credit. It boosts your credit score right up. I mean, it's so much out there that we don't know about. And because we're not willing to look into it or to invest in people that's trying to bring this to your attention or even listen to them, you know, a lot of people are stuck and they have problems. This is something I'm hoping to fix this year, or at least by next year, to bring all the resources that's out there to your attention so you can see it's a way to fix your economic situation. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Thanks to everybody who supports and been supporting from day one. See you guys next video.